This is shocking news for Spider-Man 2, but at the same time, it's finally happened. The last 48 hours have been a rollercoaster for fans' emotions. On March 21st, Venom's voice actor released a statement clearly going against the odds and very likely breaking an NDA for Spider-Man 2, which is very likely in place. But it has actually triggered a chain of events for this game, making the last 48 hours very wild. And it's not by accident that this has actually happened. From Venom's voice actor saying how he's now, and I quote, out of work since the tweet, a Miles Morales figure released referencing Spider-Man 2, but the description was not what fans expected to hear, and that has left a lot of people freaking out, and not in a good way. Leaving a like helps me a ton, but turn that into a dislike if you get to the end and did not enjoy the video. So a quick recap. March 21st, Tony Todd, who is Venom's voice actor, gives up and basically spills the beans, tweeting, and I quote, "Looks like September. Massive publicity coming in August. Commercials start dropping in August, so I'm told. Hold on to your ... and hold on to your breath. It's gonna be necessary." Now the following day after that tweet, he then tweets, and I quote, "out of work." Between the first tweet and then, it seems likely that Insomniac may have picked up the phone to call Tony and basically ask what has he just done, because in between that, he then tweets out, and I quote again, "No more hints about Spider-Man 2. It was all a fever dream, blame it on jet lag. Who knows, I might not even be Venom." Then a figure of Miles Morales gets leaked, which clearly has Spider-Man 2's logo on it, making it a reference to the game. On the figure, however, it says, "Miles is the newest Spider-Man who discovers allies and enemies across the multiverse, whilst working with his mentor, Peter Parker." Enter fans freaking out. Everyone thought that this is supposed to be Peter's story specifically for Spider-Man 2 and not a sequel to Miles, as the last game was of course Miles's. Now it then gets confirmed that the figure is actually real, but there has basically been a big PR mistake. It says, and I quote, "Update. Hasbro has clarified via a new response that this mention of the multiverse in its product description for the Miles Morales toy was actually in error, and that it's not reflective of the story that will be featured in Marvel Spider-Man 2. That was a mistake. The original product info inadvertently referenced the upcoming Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse film and was not meant to include any reference to the film or multiverse." Now that response is actually coming from a PR representative from Hasbro in response to, I guess, just everyone freaking out for the most part. I want to stop here for a moment to share my addiction for Raid Shadow Legends and why, if you don't have this game installed, you are missing out on a ton. It's by far the most addictive mobile and desktop RPG game ever. You get access to tons of champions that you can actually build on, because you'll be getting into the most intense PvP battles, PvE battles, boss battles, and just so much more. The crazy part is that the game is actually free. My favourite and go-to champion is Gallic, because his Hellraiser move for me is just unmatched, and you can also join a clan to become an unstoppable force. Now Raid's 4th anniversary is finally here, and there's tons to be excited about. I'm talking dedicated offers, free gifts, promo codes, events, and a brand new fusion event where you guys can actually get your hands on anniversary themed legendary champions. Now right now you can also use the promo code 4YearsRaid to get 4 times skill tomes legendary, 4 times energy refill, 400 times energy, and 400,000 in silver. But wait, there's more, because new players who use my link or scan the QR code that you see on screen can get a free starter pack with all of this really cool in-game loot. And just to show you how cool and fun this game is, I did a 1-hour live stream going through the dungeons, arenas, campaign, and even clan boss battles. And it's safe to say that when I started, my team felt pretty much unstoppable until I unlocked a certain champion that took things to a whole new level. The link to that is in the description, but what are you waiting for? Download Raid Shadow Legends right now and get one step ahead of the curb by getting the exclusive rewards. Link in the description below. Okay, so it's pretty clear that Tony is for the fans, which we all appreciate as he basically just did the work himself in terms of giving us some sort of information to bite on. Now, my honest opinion is that it may have been intentional and that he may have actually got the go-ahead from Insomniac themselves prior to him doing the tweet. And the reason why I say that is Tony has been in the game for a long time, so he knows the rules, and most importantly, breaking an NDA is a very big deal. I'm talking from being sued right down to actually just jeopardizing your entire career for the most part, because if you've broken an NDA, I mean, it's just going to jeopardize things in the future. Who on earth is going to trust you again, even if they do give you an NDA, right? Because that's the whole purpose. If you don't know what an NDA stands for, it stands for non-disclosure agreement. It's a pretty serious thing. So assuming that he actually did just randomly decide to go ahead and break an NDA and, you know, it wasn't actually pre-planned, then things would actually go a lot more south. So what we could have actually just witnessed is a genius marketing strategy to make it look accidental, but really thus just being a good publicity stunt, especially with the out of work tweet that he tweeted basically the next day. And it's not the first time that we would have seen something like this happen, so it's not like this is brand new and it's like a big thing. I mean, we've seen it happen in the past, but every time it does happen, for the most part, you don't really expect it until you start to really figure out, is that really a smart move by the individual to randomly just do? Now, someone did mention, I don't think he meant marketing begins 1 month before launch. He's basically saying the game will have massive media coverage in August, which actually makes sense because the first game did that. Now, more concerns have been raised as to why exactly we have not seen anything new for a while, not even a trailer or a screenshot. Now, some of the concerns were surrounding the fact that they actually think there is not a whole lot of differences, minus the fact that there's a slightly different playstyle and a new story, but visually there's nothing, you know, in comparison. So if we're talking about extensive marketing done with the first Spider-Man game, for example, it'd actually be hard to do that and replicate that, as we all know what this world looks like now. So similar with what they did with Miles Morales' game, there was no huge push prior to release, but there was, you know, a fair bit of coverage just before it was released. Now, at least in my opinion, if we're comparing both marketing strategies, I can kind of see why this would make sense. Now, I think this is a valid point, as it does leave you thinking, okay, what could they show this much in advance if the only thing that has really seen a huge change is the story and tweaks to the playstyle? And it makes sense because it can actually go the other way round, where people lose interest in the game as it's so far away and you're not seeing anything dramatically new, and then really they just need a reminder closer to the release. Now, all of that is debatable, but the reason being is they began marketing with billboards in various countries recently. The most recent one had a specific time frame, which in the end basically led to nothing, but it was legitimate promo for the game. We've also in general had Tony, again Venom's voice actor, carry the game quite a lot, dropping a lot of info, and then how it was brought to the surface, how the map in this game includes a lot more of New York than we had in the previous games. And all of that sounds realistic, as of course it's a new console, the ceiling has been raised, and previous limitations are no longer limitations. But it still leaves the question of why. Why are they not even sharing things like screenshots? As we are now basically entering April, must there be something new like a screenshot this month to basically, lay the ground? And if there is not, should we actually begin to worry? One thing that we do know is Venom is going to surprise us all, thanks to the exclusive info shared by Tony on a podcast, so check out the video that you see on screen where I summarized that information.